Bang.
Bang. Monty, CJ, end of another week, although I know for you guys that doesn't mean that you're done. I'm not rubbing it in, guys, but you guys are the guys that decided to trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Oh yeah, no, it's the weekends can be the most fun, John. That's when we see a lot of the price action. So no complaints over here.
No. And welcome, folks. It's great to have you here for the Daily Crypto Byte. These two gents, Monty and CJ, not only were miners back in their college days, but have now created the curriculum for Market Rebellion Crypto. And they monitor and contribute to the trading room. And you can join for just $1 for your first month. It's $1, and figure out whether or not it's something that benefits you. If you decide it is, then like thousands of other folks, you can be in that room every day, like I've already said, 7 days a week. And there's a lot going on in there, a lot of chatter about which stocks are, or in this case, not stocks, but which tokens are moving, whether they're a utility or whether they're an actual coin. A lot of those discussions that go on throughout that 24-hour clock are invaluable, as several people have said. And I encourage you to check it out. If you can't risk a buck, you might even just tap me on the shoulder and I'll pay your buck for the first month. But I think you'll find it's very worthwhile. Anyway, guys, Bitcoin back over 58,000 today.
Yes, looking strong, looking strong. The ascending triangle formation that CJ pointed out a few weeks ago now is still looking very solid. And, you know, for me, it's just every time we set this higher low, it's just confirmation that more buyers are stepping in at a higher price point, and there's just less sellers at the current price as well. So for me, the first half of April has been somewhat boring if you just look at Bitcoin's price, but I expect an explosive second half to this month, and this weekend might be the start to that. So I'm pretty excited.
Interesting thing also is when Bitcoin trades sideways like this, traders get bored with it. You know, they look for other opportunities in the altcoin market. So I'm sure we'll get to those with our doges of the day later as well.
Yeah, well, there has been action aplenty. And while I'm here in Puerto Rico, turns out that I was here with two of the gentlemen that do a weekly show with CJ and Monty. And that's Ryan and Alex from Trade the Chain. And they're down here in Puerto Rico as well. Completely separate business that they were discussing with the likes of Polkadot and others. But while they've been down here, because CJ and Monty said, hey, you know, did you know Alex and Ryan are there? We invited them over to the office, and they were kind enough to give us some time, came on over to the office, sat down in the boardroom, and we hammered out some, I think, some pretty good ideas together. So that was, you know, there are a bunch of crypto folks down here. Not only are there miners, because there are, but there are also an awful lot of hedge fund traders for both equities and cryptocurrencies down here in Puerto Rico. And it's just a flood of people coming in here. So pretty soon there'll be more crypto folks here than maybe any other place other than Zug, Switzerland. It's just packing up with crypto guys and gals.
Yeah, Puerto Rico really has become kind of the capital for crypto in the Western Hemisphere here. And I'm sure one thing that you've been hearing a lot about, John, while you've been down there is Coinbase and their upcoming listing. People have been talking all about the numbers that they released this week, and you sent me some very interesting revenue numbers this morning. So you want to tell people about Coinbase and what you think this listing could look like?
Sure. And this is, you know, off the chain, to use you guys with Trade the Chain. it's off the chain. It's off, uh, it's into orbit already. I mean, just crazy. For instance, last year, Coinbase, if you're seeing the screen, did total revenue of $1.3 billion. That's total revenue, very respectable. And we knew it was going to try to come to market with a 60 or 80 billion market cap. Then they pushed it to 100 billion. And now I'm hearing whispers that it might even be in the 150 billion range. It's going to come at us pretty quick, Coinbase is, but look at the projections on this thing. They're basically saying from 1.3 billion last year to 5.3 billion this year, and work on its way all the way to 2025. They're estimating almost 21 billion in revenue. And this is according to Coinbase's S1 and their filings. So, and as you guys probably know, they, forward-looking guidance, if you will, they can't really be held to it, but factually, they've got to put out all this information about what they really are, and basically say, we're almost like a carcinogen. In other words, something that causes cancer, because these filings, when you want to go public, you have to basically tell people, look, you probably shouldn't buy us because there are all these risks, and they list all the risks. But then when you see something like this and that chart of the revenue growth, then you get the idea that maybe they really are worth an awful lot of money. And maybe it really is. They've got 56 million retail users already on the platform. 56 million. That is such an extraordinary number, folks, that I'm sure CJ and Matt, that you're surprised that number isn't a projected number for 2025, but instead that's the number today.
Yeah, those numbers are staggering, John. And CJ, we're pretty excited because on Tuesday, we're doing a bit of a crossover episode with the options oracle, AJ Monty. So I'm excited to ask him about that. And CJ, I was wondering, what effect do you see this listing have on the rest of the space? Like, do you see this impacting other crypto-related equities like Riot, like Mara, and other, crypto-related equities?
Yeah, we've seen this, or we haven't seen this rather. So it's a little bit difficult to predict what exactly will happen, but with a valuation like this and such a large IPO drawing headlines on the 14th coming up here, I think if a large amount of volume comes into Coinbase, and I mean the stock and the listing, I definitely think there's going to be some more interest and some more talk around stocks like Riot, Mara, MicroStrategy potentially. But we haven't seen it before necessarily. So I'm very excited to see what happens on the 14th.
Yeah, it is going to be a very interesting exercise because, there are, like the sponsor of this show, Voyager is publicly traded, and they are a crypto broker. Um, they're growing like a weed. We shared with you guys that they said they have 1 million verified accounts. And then you see something like this over with Coinbase, and you see the numbers for the first time really publicly disclosed, because they have to file with the SEC. They do that confidentially sometimes, which is what they did. But then before it goes public, they have to make it public. And those are staggering numbers, 56 million and $1.3 billion in revenue, total revenue, that is. Those are great numbers. Again, Voyager is a sponsor of this program. We certainly love the association, the investment we've made in Voyager, and I think it's a great platform for trading. So, there can be more than one winner in this game, and clearly these guys are going to be one of them. So hats off to them. That is due, perhaps, folks, to print next week, that Coinbase IPO.
Exciting stuff, exciting stuff. I think it's that time of the day, though. We get to our doges of the day. We have some pretty interesting picks today, so I'm excited about this segment today. CJ, you want to start us off with your doge of the day?
Yeah, this is a project that I haven't mentioned before, but you'll probably hear me talk a little bit about it more going forward because I think it's very exciting. One of our friends on YouTube as well, who is also in Puerto Rico this week, was Rob from Digital Asset News. Great channel. I definitely encourage you to check him out. But when he talks about Voyager, he has kind of compared them to, the whole hotels.com of crypto. You're connected to a bunch of different exchanges and market makers, and you route orders so that the customers can get the best and most efficient price. And Voyager does a phenomenal job of that. That's one of the reasons I really like trading on the platform. And the asset that I have chose today is very similar like that, but instead of doing it in the centralized exchange ecosystem, it's doing it with decentralized exchanges. So that asset is going to be 1inch. The ticker symbol is 1 and then INCH. And this is a decentralized exchange aggregator. So it takes data from exchanges like Sushi, Uni, and decentralized exchanges and routes them to give the customer the best potential price. So I think that's going to be very interesting and exciting as the decentralized exchange space grows. And when we look at the technical setup behind us here, you can see that there was a nice spike in volume down below there as we broke up above that key resistance level at $5.80 and then moved into new all-time highs. I love when an asset breaks a previous high with a large amount of volume. And the volume on that one currently, the relative trading volume is up over 100% today. So, a lot of it coming in. That's something that you'll probably hear me talk about more in the future. But 1inch is going to be my Doge of the day today.
Can't go wrong with a volume pick, CJ. I saw John's eyes light up when he saw those volume bars down there.
I actually had to pull it up on my Voyager app because that's some big spikes.
Yeah, John, I saw you also had a pick that had some pretty significant volume as well. You want to tell the audience what you were looking at?
Well, as big as Coinbase is, guys, that is not the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. The biggest is Binance. And to give you an idea, they do 1.4 million transactions per second. And I didn't stutter and I didn't misstate that. That's 1.4 million per second. It's unbelievable. They're executed on Binance every second, and they have 2 billion in average daily volume. 2 billion. That's not dollars. That's 2 billion transactions. I mean, imagine that, folks. For people that are, regular followers of the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, these are numbers that are approaching that. So it's just amazing. And it's one of the many reasons that CJ and Monty and I and everybody over at Market Rebellion is so excited about crypto. Because Binance has grown like a weed, and their revenue numbers, the numbers we just shared with you from the S1 on Coinbase, you can imagine what they must be over at Binance. So anyway, they have a coin. It is B like boy, N like Nancy, B like boy, BNB, and that coin is my Doge of the day today because we've seen a really nice move. Binance coin BNB, we think that one can be going higher because of volume and breakouts and all the rest. And obviously, even though they're bigger, coattailing on Coinbase and the excitement about that. So that's my Doge of the day, Matt.
I like that play, John. I like that play for a lot of reasons. And also an interesting thing I'll just tease real quick. Last night we had a pretty interesting meeting with one of our sentiment people from University of Chicago, and we actually talked about volume a little bit and some volume related indicators and talked about using a Binance API. So we're working hard to bring you guys some really important volume metrics and some actionable volume insights. So yeah, I mean, this has been hugely important. And I think the reasons you're entering a Binance trade are good, John. I mean, like you said, I think the Coinbase listing is going to pave the way for some really serious price action here.
I love it.
So yeah, last Doge of the day today will be mine. and mine is actually kind of on declining volume. So I'm switching it up here a little bit, but mine is Polkadot, DOT. This is one that's tradable on Voyager. And, this is one that, full disclosure, I hold and I've been holding for a while. And, I love this play because I think I've said it for a long time. I think it's really going to appeal to the retail trader for a lot of reasons because of its utility. But further, 8% interest on Voyager, 8% interest. Look no further than that for a reason to buy and hold this thing. I mean, I looked at a lot of assets this morning. A lot of them have seen pretty bullish price action in the last like 9 hours, but DOT is one that's kind of declined a little bit. So I think if people do take a little bit of profit off the table, some alts that have gone more parabolic in the last couple of hours, like we saw with Engine, or even like we saw with Mana, other assets that are topping on nines, I think DOT could be a big benefactor. And I'm trying to pick assets that I think are really gonna benefit from retail speculation. And because of the interest rate, because of the utility, and because of just the broad appeal of DOT, I think this is one that really has potential to perform well in this next bull cycle. And I think the next bull cycle is going to start really soon. So that's my Doge of the day today, DOT.
Love it. Well, folks, we try to give you cram as much good information into 12 or 15 minutes as we can. I think the guys have done that today. I encourage you to look up some information on both Coinbase as well as Binance, because these are going to be things everybody will be talking about. Not just crypto folks will be talking about those next week if Coinbase does indeed launch and all of a sudden they see a print of $100+ billion. So have a great weekend. If you're in the Market Rebellion crypto room, remember, they're in there 24 hours a day, folks. So if you'd like to join, it's $1 for the first month, and you just go to marketrebellion.com/try crypto. That's /try crypto, CRYPTO. Monty, CJ, have a good one. I'll see you guys back here Monday.
Yep. Have a great weekend, everyone.